I like buffets. The reason I like buffets is because I get to go as often as I want back to that table, back to the buffet line, get as much food as I want for one low price. What I like about it really is that I get to reject the things that I don't want and only accept the things that I do want. I get to go back as often as I want and only pay one low price. That's what I love about it. Everybody loves that about buffets. Who doesn't love a great buffet to go as often as you want? Don't have to ask anybody anything. Don't have to, you're not responsible for anything. You just go as often as you want. The problem with that scenario is that we have transferred that mentality into our marriage. And the reason that that's an issue is because in your marriage, you can't be like a buffet line where you take, reject the things you don't want and only accept the things that you do and get to go back as often as you want and just pay one low price. You said, I do one time, and after that, you don't. Because after that, you just take, and never want to give. Just always want to receive. And that's a bad attitude to have in any type of relationship, especially a marriage. The Bible says it's better to give than it is to receive. But in this culture, in this environment, people want to receive, and they're willing to walk away from their marriage because they're not getting what they ought to get, what they feel they ought to receive in that relationship. Should you expect something in a relationship? Of course you should. But the goal of it is to give, not to receive. That's the goal. So our marriage is not a buffet line. Your marriage is not that where you get to just reject the things you don't like and just accept the things you do like and go back as often as you want and do all those things. It just doesn't work that way. The only person that we can receive everything from is Jesus Christ. He is everything that we need. We need him in the forefront of our marriage because your spouse cannot be Jesus. They can't give you everything you want. You have to accept the good and the bad. You got to accept the package. You don't get to pick and choose what you like, what you don't like in a person. You work with that, cultivate that, make that better. You come together and you pray and you ask God to help your character be what your spouse needs. Help to increase the areas that you're weak in. Help to be that support for your spouse emotionally, physically, financially, all those areas. Because nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And let Jesus be in the place where he needs to be. Because that's the only way it's going to work. I told you before in another video that marriage only works in first place. It only works there. That's what Jimmy Evans said in his book, The 4 Laws of Love. It only works when you put your marriage first. Right after Jesus Christ himself is your marriage. Okay? And you have to give in order to receive. You must give in order to receive. That's the best way it works.